Alright everybody, welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're here reacting to a video from Esskay. So original video will be linked in the description. And it says, is Ghostface really a low tier killer? Now there's definitely a lot to talk about. There's definitely a lot of things that ultimately I can say about this killer and about this character as a whole. As you guys who are familiar with the channel know, I do main Ghostface in the game of Dead by Daylight, and as you can probably imagine, anyway. So the question off the bat, is Ghostface really a low tier killer? I mean, it goes without saying, yes, extremely low tier. Arguably, I have to say, probably the worst killer in the game, but Esskay is known to be one of the highest on the leaderboards in terms of of Ghostface markdowns and things like that. I think he mainly plays Ghostface only, from what I understand, sort of like an Aranad to Clown, sort of like that in a way where they just only really play that killer. And we're just going to sort of see what he has to say, my thoughts on it as a Ghostface main myself. And just to talk about it and just to see what he has to, what we're talking about here. So let's just get into it and let me know what you guys think in the comments as well. What do you think? Is Ghostface really a low tier? Let's get into the video.
Twitter, and I came across a post by Hens stating that due to all the recent buffs to low tier killers, Ghostface is now officially bottom tier killer.
No, I completely agree with this. Let me actually go back. All three of them deserve some love. Shout out to Hens. So, D tier, it says, as with Legion also being buffed, Ghostface has become a bottom 3 simply by the killers below him getting buffed. Golly. He's right. Freddy used to be horrible, and he got reworked into a decent killer. Damn. And I think Pig actually went up a little bit too, so Pig doesn't count. And then who else was in D? I don't even remember. Oh, Legion, right? Legion as well. Yeah, that's right. Legion got a rework too. Yep. Yeah, this is the this is the life of a Ghostface main right about here. Yep. D tier, along with Trapper and Skull Merchant, the worst in the game. Pretty much 100% true. And that is just from personal experience playing the killer. Like, you pretty much feel completely powerless. Like, you literally have nothing you can do. So that is 100% confirmed. We know that for a fact. You can ask anybody, probably will agree with you, unless they're unless they don't really play the character, but so they wouldn't know. But either way,
Ghostface is now officially bottom tier killer. Now, when I first thought this, I thought, wow, I know he's not that great. I know he's on the lower side, but bottom 3, that might be a bit harsh. But the more I think—
I disagree though. No. A bit harsh is not. No, that is accurate. That's completely accurate. The character is buns. Nobody plays him, bro. Come on, man. Not without a dedicated build, and I hate to say it, you have to have a very good map to really get the full value out of his abilities. So I wouldn't say it's harsh. I would say it's very accurate in my opinion, but let's keep it going.
Think about it. Putting Ghostface up side by side to other killers, thinking, is Ghostface better than this killer? Are they better than this killer? Maybe there's some truth to it. So let's dig a little deeper, shall we? Now, there's been a bunch of new killer buffs over the past few months to killers that many would have originally considered bottom tier. Bottom tier killers originally such as Freddy and Legion. However, the killer buff that I would like to focus on recently is Myers. Why? Because Myers and Ghostface are very similar killers power-wise. While this might be a bit of an exaggeration, I often think of Myers as a simpler Ghostface. Instead of managing 4 different stalks, like Ghostface, Myers only has to have one large stalk that affects everyone.
I argue that Myers is even stronger than Ghostface even before the buff, honestly. because Myers doesn't have to deal with reveal mechanics. The power is more simple. You don't have to deal with reveal mechanics. You don't have to deal with a garbage chase. You don't really have to deal with a garbage chase ability because he doesn't have anything compared to Myers with the tier 3. Overall, like, at least you are rewarded for using your ability, and versus a Ghostface here, which you quite literally just get punished for even activating your power 80% of the time, because if you're crouching, you're getting revealed through walls and stuff like that. They recently even removed the ability to be able to crouch to break things, to sort of shrink your reveal, box, like, revealing, I don't know what you call it, not a hitbox, but when you crouched and then also were able to kick, it would reduce the amount that you could be revealed. So it would actually help you out to at least maintain your ability. And then that got removed. So then now, if you crouch or stand while cloaked, they can still just instantly reveal you. So, it doesn't really matter. Now, they did also add a little bit of some tweaks for Ghostface, and then of course that, obviously it did kind of shine a light on Philly and to show that it's completely pointless to run Philly. And it's quite literally a placebo effect, and I can probably cover that in its own video or something like that, maybe for like a tips or something like that. But ultimately, and I have it also, if you're a part of the Discord, I have it linked in one of the channels. Just kind of linking a video showing it, but basically it's a placebo effect, kind of pointless. And overall, Myers is just better. Like, if you wanted to have a similar kind of gameplay, Myers is just better in terms of, making people expose and actually being able to actually do something in chase. Because a faster vault and a little bit of a longer lunge and things like that are going to be way more effective than having absolutely nothing. So overall, they may be similar, but obviously their playstyles are very different. I would argue that Myers is more chase focused, and Ghostface is more about ambushing, which honestly I'd argue other characters can do better, but I digress. Let's go ahead and keep looking.
Two major aspects of Ghostface's mechanical skill being lean stalking, being able to efficiently lean off objects, and hiding from reveals isn't a thing for Myers. So with that in mind, let's go over the pros and cons of both killers here. Michael Myers takes longer to expose, but his expose affects all survivors in the game. But for Ghostface, he has a much faster expose, but in return, he has to stalk each survivor one by one. Don't forget to factor reveals in this though, which would put Ghostface's power on cooldown for 17 seconds if you get revealed. If you play Ghostface correctly, or if you play it perfectly, you'll be able to get an expose faster, but if you get revealed, you might have been able to get tier 3 as Myers in less time than it would have to wait out your cooldown as Ghostface.
Quite literally because of that 17-second cooldown, which I think was actually longer so in the past. So once again, the pros are definitely much higher for Myers. It may take longer, but you don't have to deal with revealing. You can just stalk from very far away and get a bonus. You don't even have to really be up close. You can pop it whenever you want, and you don't have to worry about like not having enough time to stalk them because of the reveal. Once again, the reveal is very buggy, as we already know. And is that a lot you can do with it a lot of the time, because you can crouch behind stuff and still get revealed through the wall. And then you can also get revealed even though you can't see where you're being revealed from. You can just get insta revealed, so you're kind of incentivized to run cooldown most of the time, in my opinion, just to at least have like a fighting chance.
Myers also is much stronger in chase. He gets a much faster vault and also a much longer lunge. While Ghostface doesn't have as much chase base kit aside from crouching mid-loop, he does have more stealth. So
I also do argue that the crouching in chase is basically irrelevant. Like, in most cases, what like, what are you gaining from crouching? And in most tiles in third-person camera, they can still see you. Like, most tiles, they can still see you clear as day. Like, this, it would have to be just tall enough where you're not able to be spotted. And either A, they're gonna hold W, or B, you can try to go for the lunge or something like that and still get stunned anyway. So, like, it's pretty much, like, non-existent. But sure, it is more stealth. Like I said, the gameplay definitely focuses more on ambushing. So if you prefer that playstyle, then I mean, I guess that'll work for you. But that's obviously, you know, not my favorite aspect of the character, unfortunately. Me personally, probably my least favorite. I would prefer a power that doesn't rely so heavily on just not being seen, so that you can actually get quicker downs and actually have a little bit more fun with the actual chase aspects of it. Because, you know, at least from my perspective, and like at least from me playing the game, like having to try to like take the extra time to have to walk around and try to like not get spotted and get the right angle, and then either two things can happen. Either A, you can't mark them because you're getting revealed, or B, if you can mark them, they are able to either speed off, or you can get the down, but then all that time you took to do all of that, you still lose the game. You lose like a bunch of objectives for it anyway, so it seems like you're just using a lot of time and then you just don't even get like a good return. So that was just like from my perspective. And as you guys know, like I have like P100 Ghostface, so he was the first character I got P100, played him for a long time. And I just more focus on the chased focus thing, which he doesn't have any chase powers, so it's basically you know, just trying to climb a mountain with a boulder on your back. So not ideal. Just, you know, you should be, if you're gonna focus on chasing, you need to have a chase killer. That is just how it works, you know.
You can make a jump on a survivor. It could save you a lot of time looping a pallet instead, if you can just get the down right off the bat, right off the gen, or wherever you find you. He can catch you off guard a bit as well, because survivors don't really know when they're stalked as much as they do for Myers, because it takes much less time. But for the most part, that's mostly just about a bit of the...
I will say though that that Ghostface does have that slightly over Myers, and only slightly, because with Myers you can 99 your tier 3 basically, and you're just like, you can just pop it on anybody, right? Like you can pretty much have it ready to go. If anybody attempts a body block, you can just pop it, boom, knock them instantly, and then you can keep on moving. When it comes down to with Ghostface, it's a little bit more precise with it. You really need to like 99 a few of them and then force the play to get the body block going, and then you just knock them down with the one shot, which can catch them off guard and usually can get them pretty upset. But, and I do find that funny, but you know, they do kind of function similar in that way. So now, they did make it so that Myers does stalk slower up close. You would probably have to be you would have to probably learn like the right moment, but either way, they do. I would say I wouldn't really say it's more of like I wouldn't say that's more of like a positive for Ghostface. I think they're both like equal in that sense. So I do think that Ghostface kind of stands a little. I mean, yeah, Ghostface stands a little bit below Myers in that sense. I think Myers is still better. And then let's not even talk about add-ons. So like, oh my goodness.
Mental aspect for both of these killers. The fundamental aspect for, I guess, Myers versus Ghostface in terms of chase power, Myers definitely has a bit more of an advantage. Now, this doesn't factor in add-ons. Ghostface does have a few add-ons that definitely could change the tide, such as Drop Leg Knife Sheath, which does give you a bit of haste after you expose a survivor. Which, when you're using that definitely could help you out a lot in chase. But if we're going to be factoring Ghostface's best add-ons, we sort of have to do the same for Myers. And once you look at Myers' add-ons, yeah, Myers kind of wins by a landslide. Myers overall just has much better add-ons compared to Ghostface. The majority of Ghostface's add-ons are only ever so slightly buffing the killer. Compare Ghostface's 10% faster stalk speed add-on, Philly, to Myers' 25% faster stalk speed add-on.
Which I do have to mention one key aspect that Esskay isn't really mentioning here. That Philly, albeit like if you want to look at it like mathematically here, just off of face value, 25 versus 10, obviously 25 is higher. The difference is though that Philly is pointless in comparison, is like even more now than it ever was, because of the fact that nowadays you already have like half of it base kit, which is why it's 10% now. And as I mentioned before, you can join the Discord, link in the description. I have that link there. Like pointing out like sort of that the Philly is a placebo. Like it's a placebo effect. You pretty much don't even need it. If you're leaning, you're pretty much just going to get max speed anyway. But like Myers at least is simple. You know what I mean? You could be far away, you won't have to deal with revealing, and you have 25% faster stalking, which is maybe the same. Maybe slower, arguably, actually. But still. I still think Myers still takes the cake, even though, you know, despite that, because of the fact that once again, no revealing. Like you can like the revealing is probably his biggest downside, alongside with the fact that Ghostface already doesn't have a chase ability at all. So like it's like they go hand in hand. Like you can potentially use your ability in chase, but then you're getting revealed anyway. So then it's like, okay, well I could have used it to at least hide the red stain, so it's harder for me, you know, to get you know, seen around corners or whatever have you because of the red stain, at the very least. And then that's gone too, so you're like, well, I can crouch, I guess, but they still see the red light, so it's like, you know, well, like, it's mostly pointless. But yeah, the Myers still wins out even in stalk speed, in my opinion, at least because you won't get interrupted. So you still overall get more stalking, technically speaking, than Ghostface would.
Or Ghostface's 10-second longer expose duration add-on to Myers' 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds longer tier 3.
Oh yeah, and then I add on the fact that it's everyone at the same time.
The add-ons. Keep in mind both killers tier 3 or expose is both 60 seconds long, so the 40-second longer one is 4 times stronger. That's also not factoring in Infinite Tier 3 too, that is its own can of worms. I know that Ghostface 25% extra stalk speed would be absolutely broken on him, considering Ghostface, it's just one shorter stalk. But the point I'm trying to make here is that Ghostface's add-ons do not significantly enhance the killer in any way, they're only slight tweaks. A lot of this is partly because a lot of Ghostface's buffs over the years have just been making his add-ons progressively base kit. Ghostface's add-on on release was 30 seconds long. Then they brought it down to 24 seconds, and the cooldown add-ons, they nerfed those accordingly, because those were the only add-ons people ever used on him.
Literally, Ghostface, at least from what we're looking at with the information here, has been doo-doo since he released. In the PTB, he was instantaneously revealed. So it seems like since he even came out, he's been low tier. Like I don't even think he's ever gone up beyond that C level. I think he's been at D or maybe C sometimes, and he just stayed in D tier. Like it's actually insane. And I think I remember dealing with 24-second cooldown, I believe. And that's why we were using the matchbook for a long time, because I don't think they had changed this
back then. Then they increased the expose duration and overhauled a lot of his add-ons, which this was a really nice buff at the time. And while the majority of the add-ons were fairly useless, older Ghostface add-ons were even worse. This was a very nice improvement. When this wasn't enough to buff the killer, they slightly buffed his crouch movement speed, and reduced his cooldown again to 20 seconds, and also reducing the cooldown add-ons accordingly again. Then they did this again for the 3rd time, and they reduced his cooldown to 17 seconds, and nerfed his Warleyes Matchbook add-on to make up for that, and also buffed his Stalk Speed base kit and nerfed Billy to make up for that.
I will say though, by the way, that I've honestly argued that maybe they should have just made it like Chucky, where it's like a fast cooldown, like 12 seconds, like, you know what I mean, like 14 seconds, like something short, because of the fact that his ability is not that strong, where like you can just pop it and then like, you know, and then actually use it in a chase or something. Like it's literally just undetectable, and you can sometimes get somebody exposed. Because he still doesn't have any capability of speeding up or vaulting faster or doing anything useful, you know? I thought like maybe that would help him, considering. But I don't even know if that would even work for him, because it would make him a little bit better. Like, you can kind of like maybe activate the undetectable in a tile and then use that to like trying to go around it and like hide and whatnot to kind of throw him off and chase. But that's about it. I mean, that's all I could really have thought of. So who knows? What can we do to make this guy better? Like they like, because he's supposed, like, everybody knows him for stealth. They want him to be stealth, and I can understand that, and I can respect that. I've never been a fan of that, but I understand that that's what people like about the characters. So, you know, there's no reason to remove that, especially when there's other characters that are focused on chase. So it seems almost redundant to make another chase focused character out of that. It was originally as originally a stealth killer. So I get it.
Coming PTB 2, they're also reducing his base terror radius to 24 meters, which, while is absolutely appreciated, it's still gonna do very little to improve the killer, considering he is probably the most stealthy killer in the game. So
which I will say, the 24-meter terror radius still I don't even think is enough. Like, he just doesn't have anything for you if you want to do anything. I would argue, like, arguably more fun, because like if you do enjoy just kind of ambushing and all of that type of stuff, arguably Wraith does it better. Like, he's at least faster while cloaked. You can, you know, run an add-on to at least silence the bell or whatever have you, so you can at least sneak up on people while hiding behind something and uncloak, and at least have a better shot at getting a good hit and then flying off somewhere else to kind of go into that hit and run playstyle. But with a character like this, like, you don't have speed, so it's just like you can just stalk them, I guess, but you have to get so close to them. And, you know, you're walking at the normal 4.6 or 1.15%, so, you know, and then a lot of people that I've seen play Ghostface like to crouch around the map, so like you're moving even slower on average. So that already takes forever. So it's like, but Wraith can just be cloaked and fly around the map, like, so it's like, well, you know, I gotta say, like, that is like, he's not even good at his own job. Like, his job is to do all of that, and he still doesn't even do that right. So it's like, damn, like, what are you supposed to do, you know? So either way, 24-meter terror radius, at least it's something. Like, every time we get an update for Ghostface nowadays, it's like, hey, at least it's something, because he's still like low tier in the gutter. Like, he's just doo-doo. Like, there's no way to get him out of there at this point.
You're gonna be in stealth for most of the game anyways. It's gonna be a nice change for when you do get revealed, and it's gonna make the crouch movements, the crouch add-on that reduces his terror radius, better, because you can combo that with Monitor. And
yeah, so just to touch on this as well, Monitor and Abuse reduces it by 8 meters. The add-on, when you're crouched, reduces it by 12. And then he has a 24-meter terror radius. So, in other words, when you're crouched, you can get about 4 meters of a terror radius. So, it does mean you can kind of not have to run cooldown, because you can still kind of go around the map and have like a much shorter terror radius. Which is like, okay, I guess. Like, it's not super amazing, you know. It's kind of like running like Myers with the like Vanity Mirror, or like with the Dead Rabbit add-on or whatever. Is it enough? No, but it's something, I guess. Like, it adds more to the gameplay of stealth, quote unquote, I guess.
You can do some fun things with that. But for the most part, this isn't gonna help him much at all. For the most part, all of his buffs have mostly just accomplished making Ghostface less add-on reliant, and also making him less punishing for new Ghostface players who may struggle with getting revealed regularly, but they don't really do much in regards to making the killer much stronger. He's always been a fairly weak killer. It's an endless cycle of Ghostface not having much add-on variety, leading to Ghostface players only picking from 1 or 2 add-ons. So the devs see that, and they nerf those add-ons and make them partially base kit. But they still don't address the fact that he doesn't have much of a pool of add-ons to choose from. Like, don't get me wrong, base kit Ghostface feels great right now. He's far less add-on reliant, he doesn't need Billy for greater stalk speed, but the only problem is that now that people don't need to bring Philly to get value out of Ghostface, they don't really have much to replace it with, because he doesn't really have much options. Really, his only good add-ons are Drop Leg Knife Sheath, which gives you faster haste after exposing, driver's license, which blocks gens when you're exposing them, and outdoor security camera for info after you down someone who's exposed. I know there are some decent ones, but those are the only ones I'd really consider pretty good. The other ones are just sort of like good, but you know, they're nothing crazy. And those ones, there's only like 1 or 2 of those, I'd say. Now, with all that in mind, Ghostface may truly be bottom tier. So that leads us to the next topic of discussion. How can we fix this?
I'm curious to see this. I honestly, when I've talked about this topic of like how do we buff Ghostface, I said completely throw the power out and start from scratch, make something brand new, something that feels a little bit more like a more attack focused, non-stealthy, boring like playstyle, and actually have something that people actually want to see. Now, in my opinion, I wish that we had gotten a Scream license, and then we can get like basically take what we saw in Mortal Kombat with Ghostface, like where he kind of like runs towards you and then grabs and like does like the stabbing. And I thought, well, you know, what if you have that as a thing, right? Kind of create like a dash attack and have him grab, basically put you in deep wound, and then like kind of like throw you so you can like start running. And then like you can do like another one, like how it does, like how it was in the in Mortal Kombat as well, like when you do like a meter burn of it and it does like a really long attack of it. I thought that would have been awesome, at least me personally. Then you could have just, you know, done something else. But obviously we didn't get that. We had gotten the mask license, so obviously they went in with the, you know, stealth or whatever. So it's like, fine, you know, like I've said before, they're probably going to stick with that because that is the more, like, people just like this version of with the stealthy and the da-da-da. So I'm like, hey, it's fine, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? It's completely fine. No point in taking that away from people that like it. But if we're going to, you know, stay with this, at least let's try to push that, you know, to a much better area.
Maining Ghostface for over 10,000 hours, I've had a lot of time to think about how I'd improve on my favorite killer in a way that doesn't...
10,000 hours of this Wii killer is insane work, by the way. That is actually insane. 10,000, like I think I've gotten maybe third of that probably, but like at a certain point you just kind of stop. Like I'm surprised that he managed to continue to play this character even nowadays, because like I still like I can like the character, this, that, and the third, but like it doesn't fit my personal play style and it doesn't just work for me at all. So, you know, I've gotten sick of it, but I'm glad that Esskay's at least, you know, found a way to make it fun, and for 10,000 hours is crazy.
That's what I and a lot of people love about him as well. The fact that he's an M1 killer and doesn't really have anything in chase nor mobility to go around the map is definitely one of the main drawbacks to his low tier. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to improve on this without changing the killer drastically, which I don't think would be a good idea, and I think many people would agree. So here are some of my improvements on his power. For mobility, one of my suggestions is to give Night Shroud a mechanic that allows you to traverse the map faster when out of line of sight of any survivor.
I do like this idea because it kind of reminds me of Wraith, and also kind of reminds me of the 2v8 when they had that sort of effect where you can kind of walk around the map faster because nobody's looking at you. And that, I think that was a part of the Shadow class or like Fearmonger, something like that. I thought it was interesting. Now the problem with the one main issue I have with this idea with the whole completely out of sight thing, I have a small problem with it. The only thing is that I'm thinking of the fact that you could potentially go against teams that are dedicated to canceling out your abilities. So basically, people that follow you around to reveal you. So it's like you kind of lose. Not only do you lose your power once, but you lose it twice because you can't use your Night Shroud to travel faster. However, I will say in most games you can get a lot of value from this. So it's a good change. I like this. This is an interesting idea. Makes him a little bit like Wraith, but not too much like Wraith. Like he's faster than Wraith in a way, but the difference is Wraith is still better. And you still kind of raise up Ghostface to at least be closer to him, which I don't think he's D tier. I think they normally raise him up to like at least a little higher than that. So that would be much better for him.
Not only could this improve his map pressure, this idea also rewards playing around Ghostface's stealth and sort of playing in the shadows where you're pouncing on your prey. It'll allow you to reposition yourself to different parts of the map to catch survivors off guard without costing you a lot of time. If you just took a survivor, instead of beelining straight to the next survivor on a generator from the same direction where they'd expect you to come from, you can choose to take the extra time to wrap around the edge of the map and catch them from behind, because generally they wouldn't be expecting you to come from that side.
That right there is honestly like my biggest issue with playing the character, is that you want to supposedly go around and do that, but you're not really given an incentive to do so, and you kind of end up losing a lot of pressure because if you attempt to do that sometimes, or just because of maps, like you just can't do that. However, with like when you do add that new part of the power to it, that makes it a lot better. That definitely makes it a lot more interesting. And it does reward that sort of playstyle that incentivizes you to want to do that. Now, I also think that it could arguably be more flexible for a slightly alternative playstyle as well. Maybe you could use it aggressively. So who knows?
Just to clarify, this ability would only work when you're completely out of line of sight of Survivor and won't work in Chase. So don't worry about trying to reveal him in...
So I understand that. Right, like within a line of, it will deactivate within line of sight of any survivor in Chase 8 meters. Well, the thing is that the only thing about this is that you might not get a lot of value because of like certain maps may prevent you from completely using it, which kind of sucks. Like the Eerie Crows maps have insane line of sight, so like you might not even be able to get the full value of it. And then it says within 8 meters of survivor to prevent moonwalking and cheesing. And there's one survivor alive. But otherwise, it's still a pretty good idea. I like it.
Chases the survivor. It's not going to be the same mechanic as revealing Ghostface, which I know can be a bit finicky. I sort of think of this as like a bit of sort of like Weeping Angels, you know, that sort of idea of the killer, where it's like when you're completely out of line of sight, you can't see the survivor as well. That's when you go a little bit speedy. Sort of like the Houndmaster's mechanic, where you can, the scout mechanic, but just you can't use it in Chase whatsoever. Now, for my next idea, it might sound a little bit ironic, considering one of my main complaints was that Ghostface buffs in the past have mostly entirely just been making their add-ons partially base kit. I think base kit drop leg Knife Sheath to some degree for Ghostface is a little overdue. Killers getting a short boost of haste after using their power has sort of become the standard for a lot of killers. You know, Sadako gets a speed boost after exiting a TV, Trapper gets a short boost after placing a trap, Knight gets it with his guards, and so on. Knowing when to also time your expose when you're using drop leg to secure down at a loop, like the second they pass that pallet, that's when you activate it, is also another fun component for Ghostface, which I absolutely love. It also is a great add-on for jumping a survivor in stealth. Overall, it's a great add-on for him. And I think making it partially base kit, whether that be making it 5% base kit and drop leg adds another 5% to be...
I do like the idea that they will add in like a 5% haste in the base kit, and then like another 5% in the add-on. I like that. That's cool. That's a cool idea. I like it. It does basically, you know, because they, which I feel like Behavior might consider, because they keep trying to like put the add-ons into the base kit, and like it's not terrible, you know what I mean? It's not a terrible idea at all. But I do like that other idea too. That's pretty decent. I do like that quite a bit. These are pretty good ideas though.
Base like 10%, or just making it 10% base kit and changing the add-on with something else entirely. Either one, I guess, you know, it's something you'd probably have to test, see what works. I think would be really good changes for the killer. Now, moving on to my next point for Ghostface is his add-ons. You wouldn't be able to make drop leg partially base kit without giving him some other add-ons to choose from, or else that's just gonna make another cycle where that's one less add-on Ghostface is gonna bring and he still has nothing to choose from. Now, while his new add-ons are much more unique than the old original add-ons he came on release, a good majority of them still really suck. He has a lot of add-ons that only get value after a survivor reveals you, which means you have to let them break you out of your power to get value, and even then, all it does is oblivious or something. Really.
Yeah, telephoto lens is one of the most useless add-ons I've ever seen in my life. Like especially for a character that his literal power is to become undetectable. And mind you, telephoto lens as an add-on is one of the most pointless add-ons for this character, because of the fact that if they're revealing you, that means that they're probably in range to be looking right at you. So having oblivious for them revealing you literally means absolutely nothing. Because they're gonna, like, the whole point of oblivious is, okay, you don't hear the terror radius, but in order to reveal you, they have to look at you. So isn't by definition them staring right at you meaning that the oblivious is completely pointless? Right? Because if they're staring at you, that means that you're not gonna catch them off guard, because they're literally, to reveal you, they have to stare at you. So you would have to somehow be able to hide and then rotate around in that time, and then they already know you're there, so it's not like you're really getting the drop on anybody. So it's just such a double negative add-on. It's so pointless. And night vision monocular is kind of just terrible as well. It's not as bad as telephoto, but it's still pretty bad. Like, what the heck is that? Like 10. They should have made this night vision monocular much higher than 10 seconds, because that's like, for as long as it takes for you to recharge your power, to even try to get like value from night vision, like it takes you 17 seconds, so you're gonna deliver what, 10 seconds every 17 seconds? Like, come on now, like that's pointless. Like, why even run that? That's pointless, man. It's taking up space.
Really terrible. And then he also, on top of that, he also has a bunch of add-ons that only give mediocre stat buffs that aren't really noticeable unless you're looking side by side to them.
I will say that the green add-on there, the knife sheath, or what, I don't even remember what that thing's called, but the 10% is not terrible. I know a lot of people like to crouch around with Ghostface, so like I do think that I would recommend that they use perks like this. I mean add-ons like this that do make you crouch around faster. I'm not somebody who really enjoys to crouch around, mainly because of the slowness. Like you slow down a lot when you crouch, even with it being 3.8 meters per second. Like, you're still basically moving at nurse speed. So like, why would you even want to walk around with that? In my opinion, like I would rather crouch. Like, I would recommend crouching when you're closer, because at least, you know, you can have less of a chance to be revealed. You can also have a really good stalking angle depending on the environment. The newspaper clippings thing, the movement speed while stalking by 40%. Like the thing with movement speed while stalking, it seems kind of pointless as well, because like, why, like, if you're in the middle of the open walking, like what do you need the movement speed for? You know what I mean? Like, if you're leaning, you're gonna have to stay there on the wall or box or corner or whatever have you to even get the stalking. So like, what is the movement speed gonna do for you? You know, I really have literally no idea. And the I don't know if that's, what is that? Like I forgot what that is. Something victim map, something, the yellow add-on, it says that the duration of killer instinct. I mean, it's already long enough. Like, you know, you can still turn around and see where you got revealed from. The extra 2 seconds is, yeah, like, kind of pointless. I have to agree with that too. Like, what are you doing with that? Like, an extra 2 seconds on it is not super important.
And then you have the rest, like cinch straps, which are just
I hate cinch straps. Oh my god, I hate cinch straps. I'm gonna have to cover that in a probably a separate Ghostface video, like just talking about it, like a guide or something like that. But basically, like, cinch straps prevents you pretty much from using one of the most important plays that I was gonna recommend, even like, especially because the cooldown was so long back in the day. I think I was playing when it was 24 seconds long. So one of the things I would recommend doing, and one of the things I still recommend doing even now, is breaking yourself out of power so you can get your cooldown sooner. So once you're done 99ing, you just break out and then just walk around with your tear radius and then have it go off of cooldown, so you can use it for later. Like when you like spot somebody in front of you that you need to like mark, or maybe they're 99, you just pop it immediately. You won't have to worry about, oh no, like my power is on cooldown, they're 99, I can't hit them. Like you can basically prevent that. This add-on, Sense Traps, prevents you from doing any of that, because if you miss your basic attack, you're still in Shroud. So you don't even get to use that play, so that you have to basically wait for the survivors to break you out. Which in turn is meaning that you have to deal with even slower cooldowns, because you can't restart the cooldown when you want to. So that is going to affect your efficiency when it comes to micromanaging the power. I think this is Olsen's address book, I believe. I think, or is that the I forgot what the heck that other one is. There is some other book. I don't care. Mark survivors up from Oblivious. Also relatively pointless. Not as bad as the other one, but still kind of bad. It's not as bad, but still bad. But arguably still has a little bit of decent value. Ah, yes, the Cologne add-on. The Cologne add-on. Yeah, this thing is freaking useless too. What the heck? Reveal time for survivors on a hook to 3 seconds. Why are you, like, the thing is that you shouldn't be using your power next to hooks anyway, because they're just gonna get instantly revealed anyway. And then using an add-on to prevent this is kind of a problem. Like, you don't really want to do that. Now, arguably, because it's another add-on, I think Chewed Pen does something like this, except for down survivors. Arguably, I would say we should make the Cologne and the Chewed Pen effects base kit. I'm just saying, I think it should be. I'm just saying, because it will help solve the problem with the revealing issues. Because, at least if I down somebody, I won't get instantly revealed or whatever happened. Well, actually, no. No, wait, that doesn't matter. I don't care. Just give Ghostface something.
So little.
There it is. The reveal time for survivors in the dying state to 3. Make these base kit. Make these effects base kit. Just because. Like, why not?
Now, I'm not asking for the whole world. I know doing unique add-ons with so many add-ons that you have to make, it would be very time-consuming for the devs. So here are just a few add-ons or concepts that I thought of, which would be very easy to implement and would be far more useful and fun to use than the add-ons we already have. So 1, add-ons that trigger on hits and stealth rather than add-ons that trigger when someone reveals you. There are so many of these that can be done. One of them, if you hit a survivor in Night Shroud, it reduces the cooldown by 9 or 10 seconds, which is a bit of a halfway point from war.
I like that add-on idea. That's really cool. Because sometimes you can't get your stock off. So it would be cool that if you at least hit the survivor, you can get your cooldown back. That'd be insane. That'd be cool. Because then you can like say hit somebody, and then you could just immediately like start activating it and going after someone else. Like, you actually can lean into that hit and run, which is what a lot of people that play stealth killers like to do. That's literally that's an S tier idea.
All Eyes Matchbook, which is 6 seconds base kit, or Ghostface Caught on Tape, which gives you your full power back completely once you down someone completely. A bit of a in-between, which could work. Another one is starter spec add-ons. Now, they'd be easy to implement, and many of them are actually useful. Now, I know mangled and broken add-ons are a dime a dozen, but to be honest, they're far more useful than so many of the add-ons that we have for Ghostface, like the one...
I'd argue that having add-ons like these would at least bring up the add-ons from useless to at least okay. Like, they at least have like a place in a build versus literally doing nothing. Which, as I've said with Ghostface probably many times, like, giving something to nothing is still something. Because Ghostface has nothing. So if you give him anything, it literally just it's a net positive, like, the whole time.
Where they have to break you out of your power to get value. It wouldn't be my dream for them, but, it'll be far better than nothing. So, just the suggestion I'm throwing out there if you just want to, fill up some of the bad add-ons. Another one is, after exposing a survivor, Ghostface can break pallets and bolt windows 30% faster. I sort of thought
like
of this
that.
as a bit of a similar thing to Singularity's overclock. So you can use
I like this too, yo. I like this. It actually will make people that want to play Ghostface more aggressively as well. It gives you an option, and then it'll also. It just seems like a really good idea, especially because you're going against a lot of people that are going to be pre-dropping. So an add-on like this would be very fun, and it'll be very nice to like be able to create a build around that. So it overall would make the character a lot more interesting to play, especially if this was a feature as an add-on. That would be insane, because that is one of the other biggest problems when you're playing this character, is the mere fact that anytime you mark somebody, it's pre-drop city. Like you're gonna have to go through like 100 pallets, and don't forget the windows too. So at least if you can, you know, get up close, get the mark off, and then if you like say that they're in shack or something, they vault, you could just vault right after them and just get the down. That'd be awesome. You know, that will save you so much time. So that'd be insane.
use that to sort of activate it. I thought that could be pretty interesting. And there's also another pool where you could have some add-ons that allow you to partially or perhaps even fully keep your stalk on that survivor after you hit them. Obviously, a lot of this stuff you'd sort of have to test.
That's really good too. I like that as well. I like these ideas. 50% stalk progress or 100%. Like there's times where like I'm pretty sure every Ghostface player has gone through this, where like they accidentally hit somebody who's 99. Just because like either A, your power didn't stalk enough and then you go to swing, or B, like you just like they're using the same character and you don't remember which one was which, or you're chasing both at the same time somehow and then you hit the wrong one and you're like, what the heck? Like so at least it'll help you like with that problem sometimes. Like you just go, well, hey, at least my stalk's still there. I don't have to restock now, and my stalk is now not as pointless.
I know one of the mechanics.
So that's a really good idea. I do like that a lot. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Watch the original video linked in the description. Watch the rest of the video. And yes, you know, sub to Esskay's channel, sub to mine. Support the channel with the links in the description. And I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Also follow on Twitch to watch me play Killer Live. I'll see you guys in the next one.